Yo guys, Haku here with my review of Tower of God chapter 269, sorry, I almost said 296, 269, and that's season 2, season 2 episode 189, and it was the Dollar Show 17, I think. We've been on the Dollar Show for a little while, but it's been a very good arc, so definitely not complaining. I really like the Dollar Show. So we started off where we left last week, which was Prince is going down and Bomb is making his decision on when he needs to go down, and he goes down when the timer hits 30, so it costs him $30 to start making his descent, because before he does it, he's thinking of he's trying to strategize, figure out how many dollars he needs to use or whatever, how many Joaquin might use, if Joaquin is going to go down this round or not. And he's trying to plan all that out. But then he holds out until 30 and he's like, I can't take it anymore. You can't risk a person's life on predictions, which was very in character for Bomb. I like the development that it gave him, really. So I think overall it was very good for Bomb's character to have it happen the way it did. It looked cool the way he was making his descent on his little platform, and once it reached 10, then Khun released Prince and Bomb caught him and saved him. So overall it cost them 40 of their around 120, I think, dollars. And even Joaquin takes note, okay, that's a third, so they're really trying to save all three of the people from their side. And I think Cherry La and Baro Baro were also commenting on it, and there was really good commentary from Sachi and Boro throughout the chapter. I feel that throughout the chapter as well, the action panels and the panels of Joaquin's face are always really well done and developed, and I think Joaquin has a very good-looking and unique character design, so of course I like that they put that in detail with most of his face panels. Action panels looked very great with Bomb and the Thorn, so that was all good. Art was nice, but the actual plot development, again, I'm gonna get into what it mostly is, but first I want to talk about next up going down in the sub is from Joaquin's team, and it's Elliot, and we see Angel is laying still, pretty much can't move, incapacitated, saying no, Buelser can't die. So again, more stuff to make the fans really feel for Elliot and Angel, even though they're bad guys, and they killed characters I really loved, like Hangzhou and especially Muntari, but still having us feel for them is nice, because I do feel for them both as characters, and I actually have a video that I may go into more detail about this Thursday for my Tower of God discussion that will involve that. So we get into the majority of this chapter, which is Joaquin telling the story of how he became a king or monarch during the descent of Elliot's submarine, where he talks about how he became a king or monarch and then later rose to the status of where the people thought of him as a god. And he did this for two separate countries. So eventually he had the two countries warring against one another so that he could feed off of, and I'm going to try to describe this in a simple way so that for those of you that read and were a little confused, you understand it more. So he became the king of the first country and left it to a subordinate, and they became evil and greedy, and after years and years, he was just a king so long ago that they thought of him as a god, so he took over a second country and did sort of the same. And he manipulated things so that the two would fight, because he cast a spell over the area so that anyone who died in the wars between the two countries would be absorbed by him, sort of like what we think he's got with the Hell Train, where he can absorb the souls of people who die there. So basically, with that sort of thing going on, he used his status as sort of a god in their mythos to convince them that the other country were monsters and had the two attacking each other, but eventually a princess of Zahard that we don't know about yet, and I think my personal theory, just throwing it out there before we figure it out, I'm going to guess that it was Adori Zahard, but on the off chance it isn't Adori Zahard, my second guess is Machete. But it'd be pretty crazy if we found out it was Yuri, so I'm going to stop making wild guesses. But yeah, I think it's going to be Adori Zahard was the one that took him down. If it's going to either be Adori or, what is it, Hagafarion is the one from the REA family, possibly. It'd be even more interesting if that new girl that we've seen is REA Hagafarion. That is a difficult name. But getting way off topic, so that was his story. And during telling his story, the girl that we've seen, the new girl, looks very disapproving of everything he's talking about, especially towards the end. He says that sacrifices are needed for a king, and to become a slayer, to become a king, he is going to use Elliot as his sacrifice, and so he's not going to save him. And that led us into the just freaking best part of Sachi and Boro's commentary throughout the chapter, where Sachi is like, that boy, what I feel from him is extreme bloodlust, and Bomb is just raging. The thorn is just a huge flaming energy source behind him, and it looks amazing, and Bomb delivers just the most epic line, where Bomb is like, he put his life on the line to fight for a piece of trash like you. And that line makes me think, okay, Bomb's gonna go off. He might not be able to save Elliot, but I kind of hope he saves Elliot or the new girl rushes in and saves him, because the chapter ends on the countdown for Elliot's sub hitting 10. So he is very, very close to death right now. Another thing would be interesting is, what if Elliot got thrown into the boiling substance and just survived because of Mad Dog BS, whatever, like plot armor, because we know Varagarv, because of Blood Tamra and all that, was like physically immune to physical attacks, so it'd be funny if Elliot had something else like that. But I think that this whole chapter was a big emotion builder. It built Joaquin's character a freaking ton. Joaquin is so developed of a character. It built him up to be a great, great antagonist, and it built up Bomb's anger towards him and his bloodlust, and it really made it so that there are going to be high emotions next chapter. Bomb is going to either want to save Elliot or want to take out Joaquin. Just, it's going to be something big and action-y happening. And then if Elliot dies, we also get the emotion from that. I think this chapter was a building chapter for the payoff, which is going to be next week. But overall, I think that even though this was a building chapter, it had very nice artwork and very nice emotion to it. But I can't give it a super high score because a lot of things didn't really happen. It didn't have a lot of content. The majority of it was the character development and character building and scene building for the climax next week. So overall it was great, but for what it was a building chapter. So in the end, I really liked Joaquin's story, and I really liked the emotional building here. So I'm going to give it an 8 Warring Nations out of 10, because though I did really like it, I have to sort of hold myself off from giving it too high a score, because it is, as a standalone chapter, it's a solid 8 out of 10, but it can't go higher than that because the payoff for it isn't going to be until next week. We didn't really have any payoff in this chapter, other than the salvation of Prince, but we all kind of figured that, I think most people figured that the first one, if anybody dies, it wasn't going to be the first, and Prince was probably going to be saved. Probably. He had a small chance of dying, but I don't think it was a good place for Prince to die, so I liked that he lived. So guys, like if you liked it, as always, subscribe for more Tower of God, 3 a week, and my discussion this week, just giving you guys a heads up for what we're going to have. I'm going to do a top 5 people that I think, because we have Bomb's, I'd say there's Bomb and his 15 allies that followed him from the previous storyline into this one, and then the Helltrain storyline, he has a bunch of other allies, but I'm not calling them like actual members of his group yet. So I'm going to do my top 5 people that I think are going to join as actual members of Bomb's group moving forward into the next storyline after this. So that's going to be an interesting thing to do. That'll be up. Not sure when that'll be up. I was thinking Thursday. Yeah, it'll probably be Thursday. So not that long of a wait for you guys. And Saturday I'm still debating whether I'm going to do this or not, or what I'm going to do. But I may do something, either an informational discussion on the Princesses of Zahard, or on the top, or like part 1 of the top 15 rankers, and I would just do like 15 through 11, and then 10 through 6 next week, and 5 to 1 the week after that. Maybe something like that. I haven't quite decided, but I think I'm going to move that back to Saturday and move my Walking Dead predictions up to Friday, just so that people that want to see the Walking Dead predictions have them a day earlier before, to watch them before the episode's coming out. Just gives them a little more time to watch that, since that's a bit more time-based. Sorry, I'm a bit rambling, but I'd like to leave you guys in the loop of what I'm doing here. So yeah, like, subscribe, comment down there what you thought of my thoughts and what you thought of the chapter. I thought it was really nice, and I'm interested to see if you guys thought so too. I think a lot of people probably are going to think this one was a bit slow, and I can see that, yeah, but still enjoyable. 8 out of 10, like I said earlier. Follow on Twitter for updates, and I will see you all next time.